For the past couple of days when I'm riding my bicycle, I'm listening to some lectures by Alan Watts, who is a guy who lived in the 60s, and he was kind of a Zen philosopher. And they call it stand-up philosopher because when he talks, he's really entertaining. He's really explaining the concepts of Zen Buddhism in a really entertaining way. So I thought I'd share some of the things that I'm thinking about in the last few days that I learned. So one of the concepts that he's talking about a lot is the concept of Yin and Yang, and you probably know the symbol of Yin and Yang, the circle that's divided half white and half black. But on a philosophical level, it kind of means that black and white are are complementing each other. They are the different sides of the same coin, and they are codependent. They cannot live without each other. I mean, you cannot have, if you only had white, you didn't know that it was white. It is only because you have black, you have the contrast, that you really understand that white is white and black is black. And they kind of mean it in a metaphorical way, like we have good and bad in our lives, and we wouldn't know what good is good if we didn't have bad things happening. And I kind of touched on that point a little bit yesterday when I talked about working for free and that everything has two sides, like pros and cons. And it's true, and our lives are like, we always try to kind of have, as he puts it, life that is only white, that is only good. But if we have a life that's only white, if we have, I don't know, a job, freelancing, a client, that they are so perfect, we would never know that they are perfect, because it's only by comparing them to the things that are not perfect, that are wrong, that we know what is good and what is bad. So that is something that I'm really thinking about a lot. You know, how to accept the fact that everything has two sides, everything has pros and cons, and nothing is ever going to be perfect. No matter how much money you have, or no matter what clients you get and what project you have, you will always have good and bad. And people think sometimes, and I'm one of them, I'm included, that if you have more money, then you will kind of, all your problems will be solved. But the way he explains it, which I think is pretty true, is that everybody has kind of bandwidth for worrying. So if you take off the money worry, you'll be worrying about something else, whether it's your health or how does your investments doing or whatever. You will find something else to worry about, because we're kind of wired to have a certain amount of worrying. And again, that is because we try to we imagine in kind of a hallucinating way that we can have a life that's only white, that's only good. But that's just not realizing that that everything always have two sides. Another thing that he's talking about, which is really nice, is kind of like the aesthetics of Eastern philosophy and kind of Wabi-Sabi. If you don't know what's Wabi-Sabi, Google search images, you will see the kind of like, they have kind of aesthetic taste, which is kind of like they find the ordinary beautiful. And he tells a nice story about kind of a Zen master going to a party, and someone shows him like a really fancy bowl, and he says, "That's boring, I don't think that's beautiful." And then after he goes, the ball falls on the floor and breaks, and the guy picks it up and takes it to a guy to repair it, and he tells him, "Please repair it, but instead of cement, put golden cement." And then the result was kind of like a broken, like a fixed bowl with the golden lines. And then the Zen master said, "Wow, that's beautiful," because there is something like with the randomness of nature, of something that wasn't expected, that is just beautiful. And I think this is a beautiful idea, because I think that there is something in the mistake, something in the random, that is a lot of times very beautiful. And especially in design, we kind of miss that. We used to have that back in the day when we used to do things manually. So you would have in the letterpress something that goes wrong, or in the silk screen printing something didn't come out as expected, and that was beautiful. The mistake was beautiful, but now that we're kind of like doing everything in the computer, there is almost no mistakes, no random things happening, and that is perhaps that's kind of a shame. So there's many more ideas, and I really recommend that you check out. What I'm listening to is called You're It on Audible, but there's tons of awesome stuff on YouTube as well. Just search for Alan Watts. The ideas are really nice, and yeah, I know there's not much to do to Zen and design like the title said, but just like the book, you know, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, if you hadn't read this book. It's got nothing to do with Zen, but it's a beautiful story and also a philosophical book about the idea of quality. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you because I'm thinking about that, and it's got nothing to do with work, but I think that getting to know these terms and these ideas kind of open your minds, and then perhaps I'll be creative in other projects. So it's always a great way to kind of open the mind and expand the horizons. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you tomorrow.